Alright, yo, what's going on? I wanted to talk about Marathon today because I came across a pretty funny article where somebody was saying that Sony is basically doubling down on Marathon and they still think it's going to be a success and not fail like Concord. Sony is the definition of insanity at this point. They're just trying the same thing over and over and over and over again, and they expect a different result. First it was Foam Stars, then it was Concord, and now we have Marathon, which is definitely going to be a failure. I mean, first of all, Marathon is yet another live service extraction shooter. How many of these have we had recently? People are sick and tired of this genre, and those that do enjoy this genre are already probably into one of the games that are out already and are going to stick to that game. Next of all, it's $40. And it's $40 while other alternatives exist of the battle royale kind of extraction shooter genre that are completely free to play. Next up we have the fact that there's no duos or solos, you have to play in a team of 3. Meaning, if you want to play solo, you basically have to drop in and go against teams of 3, and once you get eliminated, you're back to the lobby. That sounds very frustrating. On top of that, if you decide to go play with random players in a trio, they're probably not going to have mics. Nobody uses game chat anymore. And if all of that wasn't bad enough, the art style, the one thing people thought was cool about the game, is completely plagiarized. Oh yeah, one final thing I forgot to add. They also disabled proximity chat because they wanted the game to be a quote-unquote safe space with no toxicity. Mark my words, this game will be a fucking failure. But I came across this article on Twitter earlier today, and I wanted to go through it together because I do have a lot to add. Sony recommits to live service games. Says Bungie's Marathon won't suffer Concord's fate. Sony is very committed to building a diverse and resilient live service portfolio. I mean, looking at your portfolio so far, what did you have? Helldivers? That's literally it. Everything else you have put out has failed, and I remember reading articles a while back that you cancelled a ton of live service games in development. It's clear you guys have no idea what you're doing when it comes to live service and should just stick to your single player games. But hey, everyone in the industry gotta chase trends these days, I guess. Sony's live service game releases haven't all been as successful as Helldivers 2, but despite the failure of Concord and reported struggles with fair games, Sony is pushing ahead and committing to make more live service games. Yeah, because if you throw enough shit at the wall, eventually a pile of it will stick. PlayStation boss Hermen Hulst said this oh, it all makes sense now. It's coming from Hermen Hulst, the guy who thought Horizon was Sony's next big thing. I mean, honestly, we could just wrap the video up here, and I think everything that has to be said has been said. PlayStation boss Hermen Hulst said this recently during a Sony business presentation in which he also commented on the company's next big live service game, Bungie's Marathon, saying he feels optimistic that it won't suffer the same fate as Concord. They need to get Hermen Hulst out of PlayStation, bro. He does not know what he is doing. I wouldn't trust this dude to run a toaster, let alone a company. As reported by IGN, Hulst said feedback from Marathon's latest alpha test was varied. I mean, that's a pretty funny way to say that nearly everyone hated it, but he maintains that the live service category remains a great opportunity for the company. Yeah, it's a great opportunity if you make a good live service game. Not the literal sludge you guys have been putting out when it comes to live service. Like, yeah, you might think this game, this marathon, it's gonna be a huge hit, dude, but you felt the same way about Concord and Foam Stars. And look at those games now, deader than King Tut in his tomb. Concord, Hulst said, was insufficiently differentiated in a hyper-competitive segment of gaming, referring to live service multiplayer games. I mean, I'll give you props, that's a pretty unique way of saying the game sucked. We have reviewed our processes in light of this to deeply understand how and why that title failed to meet expectations and to ensure we're not going to make the same mistakes again, he said. Hulst said Sony now has a much more rigorous process in place for validating the company's hypotheses as it relates to a game's creative and commercial possibilities. For Marathon, Hulst said the aim is to create a very bold, very innovative, and deeply engaging title. Bro, very innovative? You followed the trend in the industry at the moment, you made it live service, and you stole the art style. Stop bullshitting us. You know, I hate to be a Redditor and everything, but it says here to be innovative means to introduce new ideas, methods, or products that are original and improve upon existing ones, which yet another extraction shooter with a stolen art style does none of that. It then says being innovative also implies a willingness to challenge the status quo and embrace change. Embracing a change would be making a completely different style of game than the rest of the industry is doing, not following the fucking trend. Now, I already know what somebody's gonna say in the comments. Oh, you're a commentary channel talking about innovation. You're not innovative. Yeah, I never claimed to be. And to be 100% honest, I really don't see much of an issue with not having an innovative game. Just don't claim to be innovative if you're not going to make something innovative. I think that's a fair standard to hold. Like, one of my all-time favorite games is the original Super Mario Galaxy, but I wouldn't really call it that innovative. I mean, it's just a 3D platformer at the end of the day. Anyway, the response to the Marathon Alpha test was mixed, and Hulst said the whole idea of offering early tests is to gain feedback that can then be used to improve the product. This cycle of test, of iterate, test again, that is such a key component of the live service success, both leading up to launch but also throughout the life of the game, he said. Hulst did not, however, comment on the controversy surrounding Marathon as it relates to Bungie admitting it found stolen art assets in Marathon. GameSpot's Marathon preview said, in a world of free-to-play titles, a paid game that is light on content but full of hopes, dreams, and ambitions may not be enough to inspire in others the same confidence I have in Bungie. Yeah, if you still have confidence in Bungie with this game, it's just coping at this point. This shit is gonna bomb, mark my words. Marathon is slated for release on September 23rd, and probably set to shut down by the end of the month. Some theorized it could be delayed, but it remains on track, at least as of now. In regards to Sony's live service plans in general, Hulst said the company is very committed to building a diverse and resilient live service portfolio. In related news, it was confirmed this week that Sony cut staff at the studio behind Days Gone after canceling a live service game at the studio. Before this, Sony reportedly cancelled a live service God of War title, and developer Naughty Dog cancelled The Last of Us Online back in 2023. Recently, it was reported that Sony's multiplayer heist game, Fair Games, was reportedly pushed to 2026 following concerns. Yeah, because it looked like slop. Sony thinks they can shit out anything and slap live service on it and people will immediately just get excited and play it. That's not the case. In fact, people actually kind of think the opposite at the moment. People are sick and tired of live service slop. And if you listen to people online, especially Sony fans, they tell you that they actually prefer your single player experiences, which is what got you popular in the fucking first place. I don't get it, man. Sony, they don't understand what people want. They think people want live service slop. I don't even really have much else to say, man. I mean, yeah, the live service push is not working, Mr. Hulst. You might want to shut that shit down. Anyway, yeah, I'm out of here. If you liked the video, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a dislike and a mean comment. And yeah, peace.